There's a concentrated effort to stop it. They'll do anything to stop us, especially now. Because when is our opposition?
He's been fighting for us for so long. So many schools of thoughts we've been through, yeah, to keep us strong. So tell me, what is it that you're willing to do to make our dreams come true? Yeah, make our dreams come true. Been a long time coming, but now we're here. So won't you stand up and show no fear? For the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. 'Cause he's a man of the hour. They kidnapped him for building Tamare. He put his life on the line for us all. And for the truth, the lies must fade away. Fade away. It's been a long time coming. Yes, let's be strong. For the 7 seals are breaking. It won't be long to make our dreams come true. For a life that's new. Some are called and few are chosen. How about you? For the master, master teacher. Freedom 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 for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Think not that we are earthborn, so come from earth we may be, but we are life-born spirit, and without knowing we can never be free. Knowledge of this was lost when we were cast into blindness. The master teacher came and broke the chains of bondage. For the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, freedom, master teacher. Freedom for the master, bring it master teacher. Bring it freedom for the master, master teacher. Freedom for the master, bring it master teacher. Bring it freedom for the master, master teacher. 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 Freedom for the master.
They did everything in their power to take this land and make sure that what's happening right now does not go on. They tried every trick in the book. They ain't finished. They tried slander, defamation of character. They tried to rob brothers up, harass sisters on the street, stop every car coming down to make sure they did everything they could. And not one person come out and help us. Why? Because they had us marked as a cult. Oh, there's some crazy suicide cult. There's a concentrated effort to stop it. They'll do anything to stop us, especially now. Because
Baba Avatara Yanun, okay, who is with us and will be soon free. Okay, right. I'm gonna introduce myself again. Okay, because we're just setting up with the camera. Rahobat Moisar. Again, welcome to our question answer class, our formation, WU-SABAT, Nuwapian Islamic Hebrews, okay, Incorporated. We are student teachers and master teacher. Myself, go by the name of Usir Ka'a Reye. I'm a student teacher, and today I'll be covering the class. I've got a little bit lined up for you, but like I said, some of the things on the system, I just decided to just go slow on me. So I'm going to try and navigate to get the information up. So just bear with me while I open up. Okay. Right. This class is just going to touch on the God of light and fire.
Hi.
Because many people don't know who they're worshiping. So let me just let somebody in. I don't know if the topic of the class today is really to do with, you know, who are you really worshiping? Who are the religious world worshiping when they say hallelujah and
It might be the God of this world.
El Shaddai.
The God of this world. You guys call him Leviathan.
Yeah, we do. So I'm gonna get into that. I'm gonna read a few excerpts from it's a book that the master teacher put out called The Luciferian Conspiracy. If you never heard of that book before, seek it out. Will be it's sold in nashat.co.uk online, or also at the store 101 Church Street in West Croydon.
Right.
So if you can come down and you want to purchase that book, it goes into detail about what we are discussing today.
Yeah, you could make me co-host. Oh, yeah, just do it. Yeah, just do it. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna open up class. There's feedback, right? I'm gonna open up class with our chant, okay, which we normally do to open up our class. I said, let me just double check that the mics are working.
Feedback.
No, it's fine now. It was it did give a little bit of feedback, but it's fine now. Okay. If you know it, you know, please, obviously, like we said, we can chant along with it. I think it's gonna be on the screen when I open up. So you'll be able to see, let me share the screen. Anuki kasangum empa paut, upa paut kaun kasangum emneya. Anuki babu amepa paut, upa paut kaun babu emneya. Nakukaro naju ame kasangum empa paut, uhabub ame mushkasum. Nakuk kadur kawan galal pafaf nakuk aroj jaweb paut ane waset ane aragni kawun naye bakoy jaweb paut anuki abed deye nafashni paut kawun anuki paut kadur nakuk kadur paut amul nakuk amul. Right, well, that was introduction to our affirmation. For those who've never heard it before, Sorry. Right, so what we tend to do is we open up with a call to our ancestors. And we just adjust this mic because it's making my suit drop. Bear with me a sec. Well, I hope I can still be heard. Right, so yeah, this class is, as I said, is the worship of, or who people are unconsciously worshiping without realizing. I'm not going to go into extreme depth. I'm just going to give you tidbits so that you'll be able to, you know, do your diligent research. Also, for you to also just kind of like, it's to stimulate the thinking process to allow you to recognize that when our brothers and sisters or humanity are using certain phrases or saying certain things, unbeknown to them, they're actually paying homage to someone or something. So we're going to open it up and share the screen with you. Okay, it's only hot. Can I need to be made co-host? I can't share my screen. I need to be, yeah, co-host. Yeah, on my tablet. Yeah. I can't share it otherwise.
Was there some reference in the Matrix about that?
What's that then?
The Matrix suggests that people are living in a make-believe world or a...
Yeah, literally, that's the Matrix is literally talking about that is happening right now.
And they think it's reality.
And people think it's a reality. That's right. Yeah. Okay. So I was saying, try and share again. Okay, that's better. Right. Screen. No, that's the recording. Share. Image from file, document. When I click on screen, okay.
Try.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Screen. Start now.
Yeah, keep trying and then cuts right back on.
Okay, I don't think we're able to, all right, I'm gonna try another way.
Technology, huh?
Technology, we rely on it and you think it's gonna work and then this happens. So let me see.
Maybe we have to do more chanting and more...
Yeah, more chanting and more,
thing to open the atmosphere.
yeah, the whole, as I said, the World Cup or something, the internet's just like,
Maybe,
up with, okay, seriously, nothing seems to be opening at the moment.
Jamal, try it again.
Okay. Screen start. No.
Yeah, it tries to and then it cuts out. So
Okay,
I'm gonna work on it.
All right, let me all right, I'm gonna have to read it, unfortunately, Moisar. And if we are able to access it, then you'll be able to see the visuals. Okay, so this is entitled from by way of yeah, like I said, it's entitled, you know, what are religious people actually worshiping? So I'm gonna start. So the monotheistic religions of today widely accept the fact that light is knowledge, okay? without forethought to the reality that prior to Thomas Edison, 1847 to 1931 AD, who invented the light bulb, they had no knowledge of electric light. The only ones that had knowledge of this were the Egyptians, which you can find on the walls. So in fact, when the Bible and Quran makes reference to light, they are making reference to fire. Exodus chapter 3, verse 2, for those who need their quotes, and I'll pause it so that you can write the quotes down. Zamal, is it possible to get something to prop this up? Something heavy. Understandable? Yeah, understand, yeah. Also another Exodus quote, Exodus 13:21. Deuteronomy 4:12. Okay, that's making reference to light. I'll continue.
Excuse me, can you repeat the first one?
Sure. Exodus chapter 3, verse 2. Okay, thus the God of the Bible and the present day Quran, being called the light of the world, light of the heaven and the earth, that's in Quran chapter 24, verse 35. Allah's light, Quran chapter 9, verse 32. Light as knowledge, illumination, illuminati. Light is good, light is intellect, white is light, white is pure, white is holy, etc. are all deceptions to lead the mind, body, and soul on a path to submission, totally to the will of fire.
What does fire mean in this case?
We'll get to that.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, we'll get to that, yeah. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I know enough. Yeah, just understand that. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good. You want to know that well, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. As long as people can see it. I don't think they want to see my face too much in this. Right, so so the word sun, as defined in American Heritage Dictionary, comes from the Middle English, from Old English sun, from New English, derivative of the Germanic suntas, meaning sun side, a variant of sol, solar, solarium, from the Latin sol, originally spelled S-O-U-L, from the root word sawel, meaning sun, and sawol, meaning soul. The Quran of the Muslims uses the Arabic word nar for fire, Quran chapter 2, verse 24, and nur for light, Quran chapter 6, verse 1, both having the same root. Both having the same root, which is N and R. Yeah, so if you understand how ancient languages, Semitic or ancient indigenous languages were operated, is that there's always a 3-part root letters referred to as consonants in English. Yeah, and then the vowels then will be added in. So let's add somebody in. So you have, for instance, an example, the word nar, which means you can either have the U and the W and the R, which will create the word nur, or you have the 2 A's and AAR, which would be nar. So even though the root is there, one denotes fire and another one denotes light, as in a beam of light. Does that make sense? Yeah. As the Torah of the Jews uses literally the same word ish for fire, and which is found in Deuteronomy 4:24, and or for light, Genesis chapter 1, verse 3. The New Testament of the Christians uses photo for light, like in phosphorescent. Yeah, that's where you get that from. Revelations chapter 22, verse 5, and pour for fire, Revelations chapter 21, verse 8. You can see the word or hidden in nor and pour, and or in all three supposedly holy texts. And the true origin of the word holy in Greek is hagios, borrowed from the Greek word halios, for the sun, or from the Egyptian city Anu, which means the city of the sun. Okay? Called by the Greeks Heliopolis, the city of the sun, which means city of the sun. So essentially what I'm saying is that when people have been given this concept of light, it has different derivatives, okay? And when you're dealing with that particular terminology and it's ascribed to a being who's called the angel of light or the bearer of light, you have to ask yourself, in the book of Ezekiel, it says he's the bearer of light. And it talks about him trying to control kingdoms, etc., this particular bearer of light. Another word you find in the scriptures for that bearer of light is Lucifer. Yeah, the bearer of light. So light is synonymous with something good, but yet this bearer of light is known as Lucifer, who we know as Halal, or the devil. You see what I'm saying? When you talk about the devil, you're saying that he's the angel of light. Because according to the book of Ezekiel, that is what it means. So I'll read from here. It says, the torch that they use, for instance, in the Olympics, okay?
Yeah.
That's a fire, or the ring around the Saturn rings. See those where they use in the Olympics, those 5 rings? It's actually the Saturn rings of Saturn. And the fire in the middle is symbolic of this particular character called Lucifer. Yeah? So when you look up the name Lucifer in your Bible and look up the Strong's number, now check this out. What do you think? Give just a wild guess. What is the Strong's concordance number for that word?
It's not 66, is it?
1966.
All right.
Do you know who, according to Revelation, was born June 6, 1966?
The son of perdition.
Exactly. Yeah, they say in Revelation, they talk about the child being born and him having a mark, and that mark was 666. They made movies about this particular child, yeah, who was born in 1966. Coincidence? I don't think so. How does a strong concordance marry up to a child that was born in 1966? And the same strong concordance has the name Lucifer, the light bearer. Yeah, because the scriptures, even though it's the Bible, it still has hidden meanings. And unless you're able to see the allegorical and the literal meanings in the scriptures, or be able to read the original language, you will miss it. So this Strong's Concordance number 1966, you get the meaning light bearer in the book of Isaiah chapter 14, verse 12. Okay, so you can look up that quote in your own time. So now there's a series of things that happened in 1966. Okay, there was a formation of a particular group known as the Church of Satan, which was actually incorporated in California by a then governor of that place, of that county or whatever they call it, that state, called Ronald Wilson Reagan.
Oh, Reagan.
Yeah, in June 1966, whose name has also 6 letters each. When you look at Ronald is 6, Wilson is 6, Reagan is 6. Just write the name and you'll see, and then count the letters. Don't write down.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So you got similarities in, not even just similarities, connections to this number. Got connections to this light bearer. Okay. Now I'm going to read some updates. That's from the master teacher. The first one is called Mount Sia, which is also another name for a particular being who is the light bearer. Okay, let me start. So look in the Bible story of Moses on Mount Sia, Exodus chapter 34, verse 4 to 5, 29 and 30, where he met his God. Exodus chapter 34, verse 4 to 5. And he hewed 2 tablets of stone, like unto the first. And Moses rose up early in the morning. Remember, this is all our biblical account, but it links into what is happening in this day and time. Okay? Went up onto Mount Sinai, as the Lord had commanded him, and took in his hand the 2 tablets of stone. And the Lord descended in the cloud. Okay, so this game would have gone more into extraterrestrial interventions, because how does clouds descend? So you read the scripture where it says the Lord descended. We've been taught in Christianity the Lord is all around us, is omnipotent, is all of this, he's present in everything, but yet he's descended in a cloud. How does anyone descend into a cloud? Let's continue anyway. And stood, it says here, descended in the cloud and stood with him there. So the Lord is standing with Moses. I thought he was omnipotent. I thought he was omniscient everywhere. I thought he was all-knowing. How is he be able to stand with Moses? And he came from a cloud and proclaimed the name of the Lord. Continue. And it came to pass when Moses came down from Mount Sinai with the 2 tablets of testimony in Moses' hand, when he came down from the mount, that Moses wist not that the skin of his face shone while he talked with him. And when Aaron and all the children of Israel saw Moses, behold, the skin of his face shone, and they were afraid to come near him. Note, when you look at Sia, you see it's sin. When you look up sin, you see Canaanite, Akkadian god Sin, and that being is Nana. Okay, go to Genesis, it tells you about a particular being that Cain, if he doesn't do well, or if his countenance falls, sin will lie at his door.
Yes, Cain.
Yeah, so if this particular so-called act, as they say, because they don't say sin is a being, they say sin is an act that you do, yeah, which is sinful. So if you commit a crime, kill somebody, it's a sin. But what they're missing out, the true understanding of that word, is that it's an Akkadian word. It's a Canaanite word, and it's talking about a particular being, not an act that you do, yeah, a disagreeable act that you do or a wicked act that you do. So this Nana was the son of another extraterrestrial known as Enlil, son of Anu. And you can find the word Sia in the book Strong's Concordance 55:14. So Moses first met Sin, Nana, then later an angel of Nana. His son-in-law Tammuz, who was consort of Inanna, daughter of Nana, and Ningal. And Tammuz is mentioned in Bible Ezekiel chapter 8, verse 9 to 14. And is still used on Jewish calendars today. And mountain is where they met. And El Shaddai, God of the mountain, a demon. So that's another name that they don't translate. They say that means the Almighty. Okay, and the word Shaddai, the root of the word is Shad, which means demon.
In what language?
In the Canaanite language or Akkadian language. And also which is where you're getting the word, the language Hebrew from. Yeah, it's a Phoenician Canaanite language. So El Shaddai, God of the mountain, a demon, Deuteronomy 32:17, Strong Concordance 7700. You get the word devil or demon or shad. Do you follow so far? Are you following? Is everyone following online? Am I losing anybody?
But they say that word will change.
That's exactly what we're saying.
Yeah, I had
That the light has blinded Lucifer's light, this light bearer, has managed to blind people into actually using his name, invoking his name, his titles, without realizing who they're invoking.
Oh, wow.
They think they're invoking God of the creator or this supreme being. They don't realize that they're actually invoking the name of a particular being, individual, who are sworn to destroy man or to make man follow him. You see what I'm saying? And that's what that's what he's sworn to do. So he's managed to have children on the planet that walk and talk and do what he bids on his behalf. And this is where we get into your son of perdition, your Trump and all these, and your left-wing party and the right-wing party. These are factions of the same beings that are actually working on behalf of Nana, okay, and these other extraterrestrials, these Luciferians, okay? So I'll just give you the quotes because there's a lot of quotes here and it will take up time. So I'll give you this book of Ezekiel, chapter 8, verse 9 to 14. So if you read that, you find out the last verse, it talks about there sat women weeping for Tammuz, okay? And you find in Deuteronomy 32:17 that they sacrificed unto devils, which I say the word devils, when you look it up, it means shad, demons, okay? And that's the root of it, and where you get the word shadid or shaddai. And that means my, what they say, my powerful, my strong, or almighty. That's my almighty, but the word shad means my demon. When you're saying shaddai, you're saying my personal demon. But you don't realize that's what you're saying. Yeah. So this is useful tools. I want to use the word ammunition because you don't want to shut down your relatives. Yeah, you don't want to shoot them down. But these are useful tools to explain to brothers and sisters, aunts, uncles, people trapped in religion. Do you get what I'm saying? That what they're actually worshiping is this, and it's hard to refute when you go into the Strongs and you go into the language, unless they want to be blinded. You see what I'm saying? And that's what a lot that's happened, is that the blindness of how they think is no longer in a logical way, because they've been made to believe as opposed to utilizing their sound right reasoning. Yeah? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
It's a question of why do people want to believe and don't want their beliefs disturbed?
Because it's a comfort, it's a crutch. Belief is like a comfort. If you no longer, it's like, you know, they use the analogy in it. When you, as a person who wants to ignore something, they put their head in sand, innit? Yeah, so that they, yeah,
Like an ostrich.
like an
yeah.
ostrich. Ignorance is bliss. So that's what they say. Yeah, because ignorance is bliss. It's better that I didn't know, because why? Because it'll make you then take responsibility for what you're not doing or need to do. You understand? And that's what happens in religion. It actually blinds you to the reality that you are that God, you are that being, you are that savior to yourself, you know, as opposed to worshiping externally outside of yourself. But the beings that are responsible for getting you to worship outside of yourself are these Elohim extraterrestrial beings, and in particular, the disagreeable negative ones or the wicked ones who have followed this particular character called the devil or Nana, which is the true name. That's his true actual name, Nana. Okay. How do you spell Nana? N-A-N-N-A-R. Nana. Okay, so back to Shad. Shad, so mountain devils, also another name for Pan. Yeah, if you know about Pan, the goat of Mendes, the Greek version of, they're known as the Sairs. And again, you can find the goat man mentioned in Leviticus chapter 17, verse 7, as who's the Baphomet. So the Israelites, unbeknown to them, okay, were worshiping a lot of different demigods or deities or evil, wicked beings, but they weren't aware of it. And it's migrated now into the mistranslations, which has become your Bible stories. And they're calling and invoking these names without knowing the true origin of them. Does that make sense? So, yes, Elder.
I mean, I never knew anything about all these demons and all that, but when I was 16, I said to myself, Christianity and slavery doesn't seem to fit together.
Yeah.
So therefore, I don't want Christianity.
Mm. So you use sound right reasoning.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That was sound right reasoning. It just didn't make sense. How can somebody who's enslaved you, then you worship the same God that they worship?
Can't be right.
Just doesn't make sense. Is it possible somehow? Yeah, sorry.
So the Christians who are worshiping and singing and praying and praising in church, and they're calling upon
Shaddai,
Shaddai,
yeah, all of that. Yeah.
right, to help them in any way. Does it work for them? No, because you hear them say, "Oh, I was ill and I called up."
Yeah.
And then, you know, so
because it's a trick and trap. If I'm able to assist you in my endeavors, but I have another intention, an ulterior motive, you see what I'm saying? Because what many religious people don't realize is that there's power in words. You with me? And because there's power in words and tones, when you utter these things, these names, etc., as you're invoking them, they get stronger. And as they get stronger, they can offer you assistance. And because now that you've made a religion, the word religion means to tie yourself, to bind yourself. Exactly. You've binded yourself to these spirit forces. But you don't know that these spirit forces are working against you. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah, but then who do you start to believe in? You're believing in what these spirit forces have told your mind, or what you've convinced yourself to believe is God. Because these spirit forces, they pretend that they're God, or they pretend that they're Jesus, or they pretend that they're Allah, or whatever the case may be, because they can tap. You see, when we're dealing with extraterrestrials, because that's most of these spirit forces are the disembodied extraterrestrial, disembodied or beings that are on a higher level. They're able to convince your mind, okay, because your mind is the most powerful tool. It can convince you by giving you images and impressions in your mind. And because of the religious or spiritual thing that you have, as especially Black people, we're very spiritual. So it's easy for us to assume that things that are being looked upon as helpful to us, okay, is actually benefiting us. But unbeknown to us, is benefiting them, because now we're giving our power to these forces. Does that make sense? Because even though they're helping you, or look like it appears that they're assisting you, they're actually taking you on a journey. And that journey is that when you come to your death's door, they will take your soul. They will redeem your soul. That's what these extraterrestrial beings or these Luciferians, that's their job. Is that they even though you may be, yes, is Jesus, yes, is Allah, yes, is God, but these are all terms of these 6 ether forces. You see what I'm saying? And they come as light. And most of the time when somebody says to you, how did you see? You know what I mean? Or what impression did you get? The first thing that comes to somebody's mouth is, oh, I saw a light. It was a light that shone to me. Jesus came as a form of light. I didn't see him, but I felt this light. I saw this light. Most of the time people see lights. So what I'm saying is that this light is fire. And the God of fire and that type of light is Lucifer. He's the God of light and fire. Understand? But he's managed to twist it. And go and look at the word Leviathan. Leviathan is the force that twists things. It perverts things. You see? So they use those forces to pervert the reality, and then your mind makes up the rest. Because human nature is that wherever they don't know or understand, the mind will actually make it up. You get what I'm saying? To fit how comfortable they feel. Yeah, to make them feel comfortable. So this is what's happened throughout the ages, that these extraterrestrial beings, they know how to manipulate the mind's eye. Okay? Or they tell you that light is pure when light is blinding, when you think about it. Because when you go to sleep at night, what do? You don't keep the light on, do you? You turn it off. If you go into a dark place for a very long time and you come out straight away, immediately flick on the light or come into a bright light, you squint. Because one thing that the light can do, especially if you're in a dark place for a long time, is it can actually damage the nerves in your eye. If you weren't aware of that, you get what I'm saying? Especially if you're in a dark place for a very long time. So you have to slowly adjust by opening your eyes slowly until the eyes can be filtered into your retina, etc. So if you have a sudden spot, even if they tell you don't look at laser lights, because laser lights can damage the actual nerves in the eye. So these are all forms of light. So what we're saying is that light blinds, and the synonymous explanation is that these extraterrestrials, they blind your thinking, they blind your logic by giving you these impressions that they're good and helping you, but they're not. They're like teeing you up like a golfer. They're teeing you up so that they can serve you to their overlords, who are extraterrestrial beings that they feed on soul or they feed on the human body. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, Elder.
Trying to connect to your point of saying that Lucifer is deceptive.
We're going to get more into it anyway as we go. But yeah, go on.
I read in the Bible that Lucifer is supposed to have said to Adam and Eve, whoever they were, or meant to be, did God tell you that not to eat the fruit or something, whatever that means?
Yeah, that was it wasn't in the true story of that. It wasn't Lucifer. It wasn't Nanar. that was speaking to Eve.
Eve.
Yeah, it wasn't. You see, this is again, it's like a overlaid story.
Right.
So the overlay story is that the word that you find in there, okay, of the devil, you won't find the word devil there. Okay, you find the word whisperer. Or yeah, it says the word that is used there is whisperer or serpent, and the word serpent, it sounds like, because you're already being given that spell that is a wicked being. You see what I'm saying? Based on Revelations, when it talks about, and the devil was cast out of heaven, that old serpent and the dragon. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it casts you into your mind that this is talking about the same being who was cast from Revelation. But you're actually looking at the word whisperer. The word there you find is nachas, the whisperer. So he came from a particular species of extraterrestrials, but it wasn't the actual Lucifer, the light bearer. That was a name that was given to Nana.
So but it tells you there's a kind of deception going on, or a twisting of the truth.
Yes, because the actual fact is that Nana, okay, so this particular being known as Nachas, okay, the whisperer, he was known as, in the actual facts, he was known as Ningish Zida. Okay, that's a Sumerian story that has been overlaid with your biblical story. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, because this particular Ningish Zida was the sixth son. And this way, again, the number 6 as being a negative number, because he was known as the sixth son of a particular, goes into another story. But what they've done is they've overlaid the two stories to make it, to imply that it's talking about the devil, Lucifer, in there. And it wasn't talking about the devil, Lucifer, because you find the word devil in Deuteronomy much later on. You naturally not find that word in Genesis. It's not, that's not the word you're finding as you're seeing as the word devil. What you're seeing is the word nachas. Does that make sense? Yeah. And this particular nachas, he's the one that he spoiled the plans of the Anunnaki, because they were creating a race of people to do work for them and to mine for them, and they didn't want them to be on the same level as they were. So that's why they said, do not eat this and do not partake of that, etc., because they were created as slaves. Does that make sense? And then Nakas, the true story is that he stepped in and said, what this particular being, Yahweh, is telling you is not true. When you do eat the fruit, you're not going to die. You get what I'm saying? When you do this, you're not going to do this, ain't going to happen to you. So yeah, so it's an overlaid story. And this is why the master teacher, Father Babianon, is clarifying who's who. Because Genesis says sin lies at the door. And I already explained that it's not an act, it's an actual person, it's an actual being. You see? Because then sin can be attributed to the devil. You see how it works? But really and truly, it wasn't that. The devil that they're talking about, or the Luciferian being that was talking about, was the name Nana. That was the being that was there. Or another name for him is Ata, okay, which means possession. Or I think it means possession and jealous one. And these are the attributes that Cain inherited. If you know the story of Cain and Abel, yeah, he inherited those attributes from his father. And the father of Cain was Nana. That's why he had those attributes. Because people read the Bible and they read that Eve had a son, but she said in there that I've gotten a son from the Lord. Yeah, Adam and Eve came together, and then Eve then afterwards said, I've gotten a son from the Lord. But the question is, who's the Lord? You see what I'm saying? Again, they use the word in the Hebrew, Yahweh, but Yahweh that's not the name, it's a title. All these things that you think are names, Yahweh, Shaddai, etc. These are titles. Yahuwah title. That Yahuwah's another is the original variation of the word where they get the word Yahweh. You see what I'm saying? So you're looking at titles of different beings. Okay, how to explain it? You may work in an office, right? And you may have secretaries in the office. One secretary, you could have several secretaries in the office. You get what I'm saying? In different departments. They're all secretaries. You understand? Yeah, but what is their name? Because that's a title. Does that make sense? Yeah. And then once that secretary leaves, another secretary is employed to take that title. But they still have their name. So this is what's happening. So when you're reading your Yahweh, Yahweh Elohim, what's another name? Elohim, the word God again is a plural of the word Elohim. Yeah. You're looking at titles of beings that were interchanged at different times. But the scholars who took the information, they didn't speak the language or understand it clearly. And they mistranslated a lot of the things, or according to their perception, what they thought was being said. Do you get what I'm saying? So it was their interpretation. It was not the literal facts that it was talking about, the Anutu or the Elohim, Anunnaki. These are extraterrestrial beings or beings from higher realms or higher dimensions from different places in the universe that came to this planet. Okay? And one of them was the God of light and fire, who was who came down the 200 fallen. And this goes into your Revelation story of there's a war in heaven, and Michael and his angels, and that the dragon lost, and then he was cast to earth. Yeah. And this is where you're getting your story from. And he appears in the garden, according to them, that he appears in the garden. But like I said, it's not the same entity or the same being that was in the garden. Does that make sense? Okay. We're gonna, for anyone online, if you got a question, or let me check, actually, let me see if there's any question. If any confusion, please put your hands up or ask away. Any questions in the chat, Zima?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Please.
I got this Master Secret, book, yeah?
Yeah.
And can you pronounce this word for me? Yeah? Is it
Maf.
mamu? Huh?
How do you
Mamu?
spell it? Spell that.
Okay. M for mother, yeah? U
Mm-hmm.
for untouchable.
Mm-hmm.
K for Kelly. H
Mm-hmm.
for Heather, Harful. M
Mm-hmm.
for mother.
Mm-hmm.
A for apple. M
Mm-hmm.
for mother. And dash
Mm-hmm.
U for untouchable.
Muhmamu. That's what it
Mark,
sounds like. See?
yeah, Mark Hamill.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now I just wanted to understand it. Mark Hamill.
Oh, okay. Let me say, so let's go through it again. So
Okay.
M,
For mother.
mm-hmm.
U for untouchable.
Yeah, M-U, yep.
K for Kelly.
Okay, yep.
H for Harful.
So Much, yeah, Much, mm-hmm.
Yeah. M for mother.
Mm-hmm. M, yep,
A for apple.
yep,
M for mother.
yeah. Okay, so that's Muhmamu. Yeah, the Muhmamu or
Yeah.
the Kamenu are the original 8 beings. Okay, the word Kamem means black. These are your original beings that were in the waters. And the Greek name for them is the Ogdoites. So these Muhmanu were actually Etherian or etheric beings that incarnated into this realm. And their DNA was used to seed the planet with our form of life, or as a humanoid form of life. Because you have to remember that Earth wasn't how can I put it, a solid. Earth was liquid. Earth was a water planet. It's an actual water planet. We call it Earth because that's the part that we live on. But 70% of the planet is actually water. Does that make sense?
Yes, correct.
Yeah. These Muhmanu were the beings that came from the waters. Okay. So yeah, let me just continue with this, and we'll get to our Q&A because it's still a little bit early. Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead, Zama. Is it based on? It's still around this?
You said something about eight beings.
Yeah, the Ogduites.
That sounds something like Ogdad.
Ogdad, yeah. That's how you pronounce it. Ogduite or Ogdad, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's the same, yeah, it's the same thing, just the way I'm pronouncing it.
That one.
Yeah, it's the way I'm pronouncing it.
Yeah, just checking, yeah.
Oh, okay.
That clicks to something, to what I answered before.
So just trying to bring up. Okay. All right. This is another update from Parnabab Avatara Yanun. It's called Flesh-Eating Gods. All right, so follow with me on this one. Flesh-Eating Gods. Verses 25 times 9 equals 225. Verse 1. Likum, my beloved Nwapu Nwapians, the 9 ether deities who birthed all others, the ever-living, the Nagar Negroid race. Know the facts of 6 and 9 ether beings, and those in between the two. Verse 2. You Nwapu Nwapians, Negroids, Africans, known as those of the 9. Verse 3. And who introduce yourself as 9 ether beings? Verse 4. And that description is, of course, the Negroid race, which includes all humanoids with genuinely wabar, kinky hair by nature, and not farah, fur, as the animals and beasts of nature. Verse 5. Let me tell you of the 6 ether beings and how they come to have farah, fur, and not wabar, kinky hair, or from 9 to 6 ether. Number 7, first, make note that the number or digit 6, back to this number again, is the digit 9 upside down. That is 9 reversed. You follow so far, yeah? Verse 8. And this means that 6 is the opposite of 9. It also means that the power of 6, okay, or 6, S-I-X, is related to SEX and the weakness of lust and how it overpowers the human beast, which they got from their own Anunnaki, yeah, gods in their Bible called Yahweh Elohim. And it's 6,000 year, again, back to the 6 again, 6,000 year history from 4000 BCE. So how you break that down is that 4000 BCE would have taken you to the year 2000, okay, to the year 0, from the before the Christian era. So 4000 to the year 0, and then they say that the Anno Domini starts the year 0 from when the birth of the Messiah Jesus, according to their Gregorian calendar. That's when the cycle starts again. So we are in the 2026 year. So if you add 4000 before the Christian era to 2000 in the common era, you have 6,000. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's 6,000. We're now in the 26th year of that 6,000 years. Back to the number 6 again. You read in Genesis 6:6. And he repented Yahweh that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. Verse 10. Verse 7 will combine both man and beast. Verse 11. And what is this Genesis chapter 6 talking about? Verse 1 speaks of Adamites having sex and birthing daughters. Verse 2, sons of Elohim, gods, saw the daughters of mortals and lusted after them, took them and raped them. Verse 3.
Oh, yeah, the sons of God
Mhm.
went into the
Daughters of, yeah. It's a nice, polite way of sugarcoating the word rape. But what they did was they raped them. Because the word took, it didn't say they asked or married, it said they took them.
All right, okay.
Yeah, if I take something of yours, what am I doing? I'm
Taking-
taking your liberty and I'm taking your freedom.
You're not asking.
Yeah, I'm not asking, am I? Exactly. Yeah.
Uh,
Verse 3, and Yahweh says his soul will not always be with them or against them because of his flesh. He will live 120 years. So chapter 6 was about rape, lusting, and sex, because we're keeping it real. We're not sugarcoating. These are the actual facts. Verse 15, question, who were these sons Igigi and Dingir, or Enlilites and Enkiites of Elohim, or El as one of them, Anu, the Anunnaki? Go to Psalms 83 verse 1 and 82 verse 1 to 6. It's talking about the Anunnaki. Verse 4. Verse 4 says fallen ones in Genesis chapter 6 verse 4. Nephilim, Hebrew Strong's number 5307, also called giants. Many giants lived on earth in those days, 6,000 years ago. Deuteronomy chapter 2, verse 10 to 21. So let me just see if there's any questions on that. That's from OSM. I don't know if that links to what I'm teaching, but okay, I'll come to these questions. Okay, all right. Verse 17, many giants lived on earth in those days, 6,000 years ago. Deuteronomy chapter 2, verse 10 to 21. Verse 4 also says they had demigods, the children of Elohim mixed with the children of Enos, Enoshites, Hebrew Strong's number 582, who were amnesiatic beings. They mean they were forgetful beings. So some mixed with Adamites, Hebrew Strong's number 120, and others mixed with Enosites. These were your Nephilim, yeah? They're mixed with the Adamites and they're mixed with the Enosites. That's in Numbers Concordance 582. And from that mixing, they birthed Giborites, Hebrew Strong's number 1368, demigods, like the name Gabriel. See the word Gibor, Giborites, is where you get the word Gabri. Remember I was saying earlier about the root letters? So if you look at when we spell the word Gibor, you have G-H-I-B-O-R. When I spell the word Giborites or Gibor, it's G-I-B-O-R-I-T-S. If you look and underline the root letters, you see the word G, B, and R. Okay, and as I said, when you add in the vowels, you get the different meaning or the connection with the name, with the actual root word. So Gabri means strong one or powerful one. Okay, Gabriel means strong one or powerful one of God or the Most High or Anu. Do you understand? So these are the titles I was saying earlier. These are all titles. The real name was the being known as Nusku, an extraterrestrial Anunnaki. That was the name of the being. But his title was Gabriel. So anybody can have that title.
Gabriel.
Gabriel. Yeah, yeah. So you could be a Gabriel if you inherited those attributes, or if you have those attributes, you are a Gabriel. You understand? If you inherited the seat or title of a ruler that is just, you have the word Michael, yeah, which means who's the just one, or Melchizedek, the ruler of justice. So when you're looking at these are not names, yeah, they're actually titles or positions of power at one particular time or another. Okay, some are agreeable, called Sarafu, Seraphim, Dingir, and others were disagreeable, called Karabu, Cherubim, Igigi. Okay, so there was two factions. One side was agreeable, one side was disagreeable. They followed the one that they followed would have been, one would have been Enki, and the other would have been Enlil. So he had like an army of them, and Enki had an army of his children, etc., etc. And these army family members, etc., became your Elohim. This is where, as I said, when there were much of the Hebrew Israelites, when they were in captivity in Babylon, they were initiated into certain orders. That's why you read about Daniel. Daniel was at the king's court of Nebuchadnezzar, and he was a priest. So he had access to certain records in Babylon. So a lot of these priests, it wasn't just Daniel, many others, that had access to certain records. And what they were doing is they were reading and translating, just what I'm saying, to fit a particular narrative. And this is where your stories are then being watered down and watered down and watered down until they became your religious stories that we hear about in your Bible. But the root of it, the origin of it, the meaning, the true meanings of it, etc., is what Baba Avatara Yanun is explaining to us. You know, that this is what's taking place, is that you had all these extraterrestrials or beings from different star systems, okay, who came to this world and they set up families and etc. and are mixed in with humans on the planet. Okay.
Gabriel could be good and bad.
Gabriel,
Yeah.
if that's the nature of that particular individual, which is what I'm saying. However, it's more like an alliance. If you have an allegiance to that particular, like you're Rome, if you're Rome, like for instance, if you were in the army, yeah, you'd be in allegiance with that particular army sergeant or corporal or whatever the case may be, and you inherit that particular title. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. Your nature, depending on what you had to do, could be viewed or perceived as evil. You understand? To whoever you're doing it to. But to you, you were sent on an errand to go and do something. An example of war. People have been sent into war, yeah, especially when they were, World War I is a classic example. Young boys as young as 8, you correct me if I'm wrong. Do you know what I mean? We're going into war. Yeah, I think the oldest 12, 13 were going into war. That's how young, yeah, World War One.
World War One.
Yeah, World War One, yeah, they were young, they were very young. And they were told to use bayonets, etc. They didn't know why they were fighting in the war. They had no idea why this war, but they were recruited into a war to kill somebody else who they were taught was their enemy. Do you understand? Yeah. So what's taking place is that you can make an allegiance to someone, is what I'm explaining here. You know what I mean? And sometimes you don't even know why you made an allegiance. Yeah. Did you have a question on?
Yes.
Okay, good.
According to the Bible, Moses was in Egypt for 40 years.
Yeah.
In the palace.
Mm-hmm.
Could he have learned the laws of Ma'at to make the 10 Commandments?
Well, he didn't make the 10 Commandments. There were 613 laws, but yes, he did learn a lot while in Egypt because he was raised in Egypt.
So what's the origin of the 10 Commandments then?
Is the origin of it is the laws of Ma'at, but it's not 10. It's 613.
I
See what I'm saying? Yeah, and we got the laws of Ma'at is the 42 negative confessions.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying, of Ma'at. But that was also being embedded into your 613 because of the fact that they took that premise or that information and added it to your Torah, the laws. You follow?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's why if you notice,
They look suspiciously similar.
yeah, but this instead of saying it, it says it in the positive as opposed to the negative. You understand? Thou shalt not kill. Why? We say, I have not killed.
I have not killed.
I have not done this. I have not done that. You understand? Yeah. Does that make sense? There's a lot to unpack. So let's continue. Those born in Genesis chapter 6, verse 1 to 4 were disagreeable demigods of the Karabu cherubim. Verse 23. In verse 5, you see that the fathers or father of their son or sons of Elohim saw that the offspring of their daughters, so of their sons and daughters of Enosites, were wicked, evil, like the Canaanites. The offspring were doing all kinds of evils on Taha, planet Earth. They could only think evil, but their very nature, their imagination, their thoughts are evil. The word catchword here is continually. It's not just once or twice, it's continually. So their descendants are doing evil continually on behalf of these Luciferians, these light bearers, these worshippers. And they're the ones that have orchestrated religion on this planet. And people are worshiping this light bearer because of what they've pushed in the world. Do you follow? Right? So verse 26, always making weapons, wars, killings, rapes, stealing the evil race of demigods. Sorry, stealing the evil race of demigods. So verse 27, I'll finish this and then you can have your question. Right. So you see the relationship of the race and the number 666 or 6. Sex, 6, 6 etheric beings, demigods. The power of 6 is 6. The power of 9 is mind. Since 9 and 6 are opposite, they were created on opposite or opposition and opposing sites. So 6 in Europe and 9 in Africa. Verse 30. 9 is a symbol of Ladud, birth, or Ladad, life, or represents life. And 6 is symbol of Mawat, death, or represents death. In sex, you give up your own life forces in sperm and ovum, or part of you dies only to join and grow and be reborn to die again. Verse 32. 9 represents order. 6 represents disorder. 9 represents the standard in nature. 6 represents the substandard in nature. 9 represents the sun, summer people, Africa, heat. Verse 37, 6 represents the moon, winter people, Europe, cold. Sod Nwapu, or Pataites, Melaninite children, are the opposite of Kafiu, serotonin night children, or 9 equals Nagaru, Negroids, and 6 equals Kakasu, Caucasoids. Verse 39. Nagaru Negroes are all humanoid persons with genuinely kinky, nappy, wabar by the nature of the digit 9. So if you want to wear your locks, by all means do so. And Kakasu Caucasoids are all humanoid persons with the curse of leprosy with genuinely thin flank, straight fur, farah fur. Most darker persons with thin farah fur will reject their African roots as Nagaru Negroes and claim to be mixed or Moorish, Indian, Creole, or Aboriginals. All kinds of things other than what they are by nature. Nagaru Negroid, Afafre, Ka'au Africans, no matter how light-skinned or how curly their farah fur, the 6th ether being will sex them, yet never accept them as one of them. They can't. They only want what little soul is left in their DNA. Everything about 6th ether humanoids is about lust, sex, and kissing. They live by it. They seek to make you lustful by the media. Right, so just...
Zamal, you have someone with their hand up and a few questions in the chat, yeah?
Wow, well, Elder, you can go and then I'll jump to the next portion.
You're talking about all different kinds of beings, and the question comes up to mind, something David Icke has talked about reptilians. Does that make any sense to you? Does it make any sense?
Yeah, it does, because
reptile, I mean,
okay, it's very generic when he says that, because we're also reptilians. You see what I'm saying? It depends on what type of morphing or humanoid you look, because you can have an extreme or the original reptilian beings that were on this planet millions and millions of years ago. But what these extraterrestrial beings have done while living on this planet is they've evolved.
All right.
You see what I'm saying? And part of their evolution is that they've mixed in with humans.
What about Tesla? Was he strange? Funny person or what?
Well, Nikola Tesla wasn't extraterrestrial. He was a child of extraterrestrial, but he was from Venus. He was a Venetian.
When are we going to get the... I was told that by 2000, we would have unlimited amount of energy, and therefore money would have no meaning.
What is that? By us or?
No, but
by
some guy told me.
Oh, okay. Well, the thing is, it's not boom straight away like 2000. Everything's just gonna change. That's not how nature works. Yeah, that's how even cycles don't work like that. You know what I'm saying? Nature doesn't work like that. It's not just straight away 2000 hits. Everybody's gonna change to cashless society. It's being phased in. So the gradual phasing in, the gradual of people being convinced that it's helpful, or that it benefits you, or that if you know, all the different things, that if you you can lose your card at home or leave it somewhere, to have it in a wallet, cashless wallet. You see what I'm saying? All of those things are part of the cashless society.
So that's central control. That's what that means.
That is part of central control. That's where your CDC comes from, central control, coin, where your money can be monitored under the blockchain technology, etc. So there's a lot happening in their world, with me, to do with control. But this is why we're saying that we as a people need to come together so we can have the world that we want. You with me? And the only way you're going to do that is through unity. But unity has to come with being awoke to the realities of what's happening in the world and who's controlling these things, who's orchestrating it, and that's what we're making people aware of by way of WU-SABAT.
Is that the makeup of the one world order?
That's right, exactly. And we don't want to be part of that. We're unfortunately still residing in it, but we're gradually working our way out of it. And that's what everybody should be trying to do if they're conscious. Some people have done it already. They've already gone to Africa and South, this, etc. Or gone to other parts of the world. Yeah, there's loads of people making transitions to Africa, setting up their businesses. So there's an exodus happening for those who are ready or are conscious of what's taking place. And there's those, unfortunately, who are not for their own, by the way of their own choice, but they've been caught up in the system, whether it's through family being here, or financially, or emotionally, or relationship, you know what I'm saying? So it's all of these things that you have to kind of like weigh up, but this is what we're saying, that once there's unity amongst us, once we're all thinking on the same frequency, it's easier for us to be able to do things together collectively, because then you're not coming out your pocket to go and do one thing. If there's a mass people contributing, you're benefiting, I'm benefiting, etc. And this is how we lived. You see what I'm saying? But we've forgotten that, because back to the light, we're blinded. You see what I'm saying? Exactly, it's the programming. So, right, what's the question on? Just go to the chat. Right, what's Rahul Zamalta? Yep, go ahead.
So I joined and you were speaking about the different wars that, just overall observing the wars on the planet, right? And I'm my mind goes to connect the dots on how the external world wars also become internal wars, and especially these, and I say wars, I in relationship to the agendas, the all of the things that are the reptilian agendas, that make up all of the missing pieces of the wars, political wars, all the things that don't unify us and get projected in media. And my mind goes to how it affects the youth, especially in my life right now. And I know that the children and women are like a primary target. So it's like, for me, I'm trying to understand that with all of the programs being projected in this external war, the seen and unseen war, right, for the children, the social pressures, the competing narratives, the divisions that they feel, and how do we, the elders, how do we ground the children and guide them back to that balance and self-awareness and inner inner sovereignty that
Okay.
is difficult,
You're talking about liberating your children from from the get-go.
Yeah,
From
because, and it's not
from
even
the
from the get-go. And
Mhm.
if we look at the age group of like 10 to 15 right now, a lot of them are really suffering
Yeah.
because of all of the programs. Yes, us adults are wrapping our heads around it, but the children are really being affected by it. So I'm trying to understand, especially within our culture, how can we ground the children and wrap their head around removing what does not belong to them and standing firm in what does belong to them?
We have to set up programs for them. Okay, so for instance, when I say programs, it first starts with culture. We have to cultivate our culture. We have to show them that this is where the heart, where everything pumps from. The heart of it is culture. And the only way you're going to do culture is if you practice your culture on a day-to-day basis so that the children can have something to identify with. Okay? And in that culture, show them the greatness of your ancestors. Show them the greatness of what you're producing in this day and time, i.e., this store that we're in now having this class, imagine we had 10 of them, 20 of them populated around the UK. But it can only start with us making that vision manifest so that our children can see, because children are visual. If they see that we're being successful, if they see that we are united with one language, dress, the way we eat, these things have to be instilled in them. Some of the things that we have going on is our cultural events. We invite people to our cultural events. We say, come down, Friendship Day, this day, etc. We do our chants on those cultural events. We have certain things that we talk about, the actual facts to the children regarding our special events. But for instance, Ashashtat Habalao, which is known as in the European society as Easter. We have certain things that we have in place in our culture. What adults need to do, if they, and if you're talking about just generally as adults, unfortunately, because a lot of our brothers and sisters, adults, have already got a belief system installed in them, it makes it more difficult for them to express their true culture because they think it's foreign to them. They feel awkward about practicing it. They don't want to, associate themselves with those Nawapians because what those Nawapians practice, you get what I'm saying, is alien. Okay? But they don't realize that this is what our ancestors did. What we are now trying to introduce the world to is the culture that our ancestors lived. Okay, is modernized in the way that we dress, okay, but there was a sense of nobility, there's a sense of culture and respect, and all of these things is what children need to see. And when these events take place, we have things that they can do, like coloring in their ancestors, or telling them about what this particular ancestors did. When you're in your home environment, you put up images of your ancestors. You write, like for instance, Children's Day. That's another event that we replace in the replacement of Christmas. What we did as an example, just an example, is that for our children, we wrote our ancestors on our own. We created our own greetings. We created our own like baubles, as it were, because we had symbolism that is associated with the decorations. So what we did, we wrote the ancestors' names or our friendships and our family names, the ones that are transitioned, on these baubles, yeah, these wooden ones that we purchased. Because what you have to keep doing on a day-to-day basis is live your culture, talk about them to your children, show them things that are is in line with them, because the more they see this, the more that they see that, oh, the brothers and the sisters, they've got another store over here, they've got another store there, but it comes with supporting the stores for a start. Just this is just as an example, because I don't know where you reside or anything at the moment, but in particular, wherever you are in the world, if you feel strongly that this is a liberating culture or a liberating information that's awoken you up, and you want to instill this in the children, set up a small school for them. Invite family and friends and show them. If you got a small group already, a clique of you that are working and reading this information, create an environment for the children. If there are any in your, so that's what we need to do. We need to create, just like in the garden of, giving a religious, an example of religion, the enclosed Garden of Eden. Yeah, we used to have many years ago, we used to call it GAN class. GAN class was an enclosure where we were taught certain things by the master teacher. Okay, so it's all about feeding their minds with the positive images and the origin and the way we can achieve things, and the respect and the love and the unity that Baba Avatara Yanun has been saying for all these 50 plus years. Is the love and unity that we had as a people. That's why, back to these Luciferian forces, these light bearers were jealous of. They didn't want to see that unity. They didn't want to see that togetherness. So they then mixed in with us, infiltrated us, caused dissension. Some of the people that then they married into and passed on their genes became black devils. You understand? And black devils have been in our community and our society for a very, very long time. But because they're your uncle or aunt or friend or etc., we kind of like, don't say anything, even though we know their nature. You understand? And this also feeds the negative in our environment, in our societies as Lagaru people. And obviously, even other races, they have the same issues as well. They also have devils in their communities and their societies, trying their best to destroy any form of unity. So I hope that answered your question without me going into like a long speech. But it is all about the children. In fact, the book that is right in front of me now is called The Bridge to Salvation. Okay, and let me just read. Oops, sorry. Book's falling apart.
Could you say anything again, please?
Yeah, Tua. It's called The Bridge to Salvation. Yeah, and read.
have a follow-up question when you're complete reading that.
Yeah, sure. Let me find it first. Right, here you go. No, that's not it. It's not it. No. There's a part where it says your children. Okay, I can't find it, but I'm just gonna quickly paraphrase. Essentially, your children will be your salvation because they're the ones that will vouch for you. Does that make sense?
It does. It does.
Yeah. And the only way they're going to be able to vouch for you is you show them, because they're going to see, look at us like this, okay? Mom, dad, I see all the things that glitters in the world, uncle, auntie, whoever it is. I see all that glitters in the world. That's what I'm attracted to. Because right now, family member, whoever we are, organization, you're not showing me anything that's making me stay here. You're not showing me anything that's making me say to myself, I want to be part of this. I want to continue being part of this. Does that make sense?
Perfect sense.
Yeah. So we need to set up these structures in place. But like I said, it starts from the grassroots. Again, I don't know where you're based, but wherever you are, or even if in the UK, and we have events, do your best to get involved. Do your best to come down, meet the rest of the family. Yeah, do your best to invest in growing this nation. You see what I'm saying? Because you know about investments, right? You know, yes, there are going to be what would they tell you about investment? If you put all your money in, there's a risk. But you know what I'm saying? But in essence, what it's saying about investment is if you put an investment in the long term, not the short term, in the long term, you're going to get rewarded. Just what I'm saying? Because it will build and it will compound, if I can use that as an analogy.
Oh, it
Yeah?
makes sense.
Yeah.
And
So, yeah.
because
So what's your other question?
yeah, it looks kind of scary out here for the youth, and I just wanted that was confirmation. So that would talk. You said something just now that I had to write down, and that's my follow-up question. You said something about ignoring natures, like when you ignore nature, and forgive me, I don't know exactly what you said word for word, but are you saying that like, if we have the knowledge and are aware, and you stay blind and ignore someone's nature, like a family member,
That's right. Yeah.
good for
Yeah.
us? That
Some of us are in families, okay, where we can see there's a book the Master Poet is called Black Devils. And these Black Devils, they have a pact. They have a genetic DNA pact with certain extraterrestrials, as we were reading, that they're certain demigods that mixed in with the Canaanites. Remember, the planet Earth was all dark-skinned people with woolly hair for a very long time. The Mukasu Caucasians have only been around for the last 6,000 years. So who do you think was being devilish back then? It was our race, but it was the seed that came out of us, and the seed that came out of us was the Adamites. Because remember, I won't use the word remember, but unless you're aware of the fact, I just have to step it back a bit. The Adamites were grafted from the original seed that was on this planet, the indigenous race that was on this planet, which was the African race. So that graftation produced your Adamites. But in that graftation, there was disagreeable DNA, let's just say, or disagreeable genes that manifested. So your black devil, for instance, Cain, that was born from Adam and Eve, actually, well, his father, now we covered that already, yeah? The birth of Cain was the manifestation of your black devil, just what I'm saying, in the Adamite race. And what these Cainites have done is they've mixed in with a lot of other seed that are on the planet. One of them being obviously the black race, because the original Adamites were dark skinned, and some of them woolly hair and some of them straight hair. So it was very hard to know who the devil was, because they were in our skin tone. The manifestation of your Caucasian race gave us another identity of who these devils were, because now we can identify that, oh, this person, you know what I'm saying, because of where they came from, by way of Cain and Canaan, who was cursed, that this is the manifestation of that disagreeable seed. But originally, the original seed of black devils, or the original seed of devils, were black devils. Okay, so the nature of the black devil is that it's very subtle, and they can, you know, they can do certain things. It won't be very wicked, but they're very they can suggest things for you to do. They can, or they may not do anything, or they may not participate in certain things. Majority of us who came into WU-SABAT had that nature. Just what I'm saying, because we've been groomed over the many years, 400 years, etc., to have a particular nature. You see, so what's happening now is through right knowledge, we're being cleansed, so that the disunity that we have, which the black devil brings in, okay, is what we're trying to, or working on eradicating. And the only way you're going to eradicate those natures is through WU-SABAT, because WU-SABAT teaches you, as we've read here, 9 knowledge, 9 information, 9 mind. And 9 mind is about creation and cultivation and growth, while 6 is the opposite. So if you see somebody acting in accordance, sorry, not acting in accordance of 9 ether, and behaving or producing negative, or having things that they do that have negative consequences, you see what I'm saying? They're either been influenced by 6 ether forces, or they know what they're doing and they're causing dissension, they're causing separation, and that's not what we're about. So all of these things is part and parcel of teaching our children, even teaching them from a very young age about their natures, showing them that when they do this, they're expressing this particular nature. When they're doing that, they're expressing this particular nature. And this is what, I mean, I have to do this on a regular basis with my children, because children sometimes can be selfish, children sometimes can be this, but you have to show them, stop and think a moment. What is the, you know, you have to, all of this dialogue and communication has to be had with your children, or with even with adults, because sometimes some adults, or most adults, don't even know what they're doing, because it's all a programming.
So, so I'm wondering, I don't want to ask too many questions. Last one. So
yeah,
bringing it
go ahead.
else, and I'm in the United States, in New York City, right?
Well, okay.
So individuals who align and practice WU-SABAT, right?
Mhm.
I've been met with that crossroad of, how do we, because you said eradicate natures, right? But what is realistically the reality of staying grounded within our high vibrational self? But then we have business. I'm in New York. There's so many forces, right? Is the reality to keep ourselves within the high vibration always, or reality you do cross paths with lower natures? But you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, I get you. I get you. In reality, you are going to cross paths with disagreeable and negative natures. You with me? And it's about knowing your nature, or where you're at in your journey, in order for you then to be able to recognize what nature is coming to you, and being able to deal with it and navigate around it. Do you see what I'm saying? And also what you do, if it does affect you, what you then do when you get back into your home, or if you go into a community that will recharge your being. Do you get what I'm saying? To the point where you're feeling much more at ease and much more comfort and at peace with yourself. So you have to kind of like utilize the materials and the tools that are around you, and also have a mental state to be able to then transmute that negative energy into positive. Because what you have to realize is the power that we have as nine ether beings is far greater than you can imagine. But we're not applying it, we're not utilizing it, we're not trusting the powers that we have because of the fact that we have so many different DNA and ancestors. And I open up a page right now and it's just even literally telling me here. So let me even read this to you, right? Let me read this because it kind of like links into what you're saying. Right. Okay. Verse 209 from the Bridge to Salvation. You have been corrupted and corrupt others of our own Muslal race. You have even tried to kafur, conceal what I taught you from my Mukhradu children and follow the crooked way of higher life. So you want to be the white man's nigger. Verse 212. Then you seek to persuade your Mukhradu children and those you can that you are on the right path. Live in the image of the Muadamu, Adamites, and or Edomites, whites and reds, Kakaznadu, Caucasoids, and or Arabnadu, Araboids, and their Datat religions or Hazabat cultures. It is conceivable that you would put your trust in a race of Mushkhasu people, persons who have been your slave masters from the Arab slave trade to the more European slave trade. Those who abused, tortured, and even killed your Muslafu ancestors for questioning them. They have taught you while enslaved for 4 generations that they are in the image of your God, son of God, a prophet. So you naturally trust them with your hayat lives. You believe in them and what they believe in. They taught you as your teachers from childhood. They wrote and printed the Bibles and Qurans, so they must be Sadek, true. They must be true. They preach and govern you and your lives politically, so you feel you can let them take care of your hayat lives. They are always the heroes on Talfaz TV and in cinemas, so you feel safe with your life in their hands. The same Kanam Art cinemas and Talfaz TV promote uniforms as those who fight for you or protect you as military or law enforcement. So you think they have your best interest in mind. They give you multiple choices when you buy or spend, such as you think the Haza'at shoes on your Kadamtwi feet are what you chose, when in fact it was one of the few shown to you in the Shoe Matkan store. You could only pick from what he presented before you, so you think you like them out of the others. This is the same in malls, supermarkets, with all you think, and when you fakor think, you're making a takro decision when it's only multiple choice by what he put before you. So you are out of your akal mind, literally. He's using your akal mind and you think, and you're made to think you're doing it. This has been their plot and plan for 6,000 years to 4,000 years to 2,000 years to 1,400 years by religious Khazabat lies and Taghshushat deceptions, Qasasat stories. They have not had to prove to you. Verse 229. You just trust them and accept it as taqut, faith, aqad, belief. And now, after the 400 years from 1600 AD, as those in bondage, you begin to fakor, think like them, a wannabe. Musbatu Sabians, make note how most Afafre Africans, Mudravu Dravidians, and Mungalu Asians, as well as Muarabu Arabs, remove their outer Hazab culture, such as traditional dress and dress in Western cloth, try to speak the Euro-Americans, start to eat fast food and drink what they drink. This is all part of their plot, Genesis 1:28, to rule other races, Muslalu. You give them access to your Moisar family, your women, your country's wealth, your resources. It's all about akal mind and khatat body control and over others. So Musfasu people have been deceived into trusting the white race because they promoted themselves over the media that way as a form of protection from others. they turn your clock back for half the year and for the other half, Shamot year. You do it, why? Only because they told you. No real chaos reason at all. Wakut time does not change. Now stop and think of how many things they promote that you have accepted without tadrush question. Is this same takshush deception used to make you respect a Mulban white person in a uniform or legal position such as Manu, lawyers, prosecutors, Mudnanu, judges, Mudfadzu, guards in prison, and so many others? Layesh, why? Because the TV, media, cinema promoted them as authorities over you, like Christians, like Christmas and Santa Claus, his uniform. So it is conceivable that you would put your trust in them, even your Moisar family's lives. You work for them. How many of them do you see working for other Salalu races? So he pays you a small portion of what you earn for him, and to you that seems okay. He's the boss, the employer, the master, and the landlord. You let him own a Mahlan house or building, and you rent from him the amount he pays for the mortgage to own that Midnan building or apartment. You could own a Mahlun home after years of paying him Mazak rent. You must see this spell of Leviathan that has you in a hypnotic spell from him to his white Jesus or Arab Muhammad to the white angels and unseen God or Allah. Yet, being you have seen millions of Shabbat image of Jesus as a Mulbanu white man, then this Mother Mary as a Mulbanu white woman, then God Allah must also be white, or as in Genesis 1:26 to 1:27. So, I mean, I'm just reading this just to say that we're under his spell, and that, you know, that spell of religion, that blinding light, just what I'm saying, is what many of us are under. So we have to perform what most of my brothers, especially my brother, we have to perform a spiritual exorcism. And that spiritual exorcism comes by way of WU-SABAT and studying what we study. Because in these books, okay, is the mental unity, is the mental liberation. It's not seeing a brother and sister as an enemy and more as a brother and a sister, because we're all from one root race. And this is how we need to start thinking as Sabians, just what I'm saying, and then be able to get along with each other, gather together, do our chants, do our prayers, support each other through whatever endeavors, businesses, etc. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying this because it's not happening. It is happening, but you know, the day and time we're living in, we need to kind of like speed it up, because some of us do like to sit on the fence. You with me? And they will chew their popcorn and watch whatever's going on around them. You know, they'll actually watch to see what they won't offer no other solution. They'll just watch and see if there's going to be any mistakes. It's like watching tennis. Do you get what I'm saying? Or watching football match. Watching, you know, yeah. So, and then you also have those who just, they may put their feet in just to feel the waters. You know, they tip their toes in just to see, is this for me? It's not for me. I'm not saying that you shouldn't. What I'm saying is that the day and time has come where no matter what's going to happen, we, even including the Hebrew Israelites, the Nation of Islam, all these black organizations will eventually have to come together, because, and it's not about I know better than you, you know better than me. We have to come together because as time goes on, if we don't see their tricks and their traps, we're also going to be falling for that too. And then we're just all going to all just go back into the world. You with me? And then our culture, which is a form of protection by our ancestors, is no longer going to be there. And then we're going to be exposed, because right now, while you're in this culture, there's an actual like a buffer, you see what I'm saying, and protection, so that certain beings or organizations can't see. When I say organization, I'm talking about extraterrestrials. Remember, they've made an agreement with the governments to take X amount of humans, etc. We have a protection by our Natharu. So the spiritual aspect and all of these things comes into play. And you being where you are, try and reach out to, you know, wherever in New York, if you can get to one of the communities, you know what I mean, go there, see what you can do, participate, get involved, let it grow. And eventually our final destination is to leave America. It's not to stay there, or to leave the UK, not to stay here. That's our final, is to go back home. But we have a mission, and that's why the master's been sent. This mission is to wake up, you know, the humanity, and wake up our race from what's going to happen if they don't wake up, where their souls, if they have one, do you know what I mean, will be given over to draconians who are waiting to reap your soul. I hope that makes sense. I've said a lot. So I've said a lot, and I don't normally say a lot. So Marta, you there?
You definitely hit everything on the nail.
Falling asleep.
Taking notes. I was taking notes.
Okay, actually, I'm just gonna read a bit more because it's actually landing right in front of me as I keep speaking. So it says, for instance, here, verse 252. Can most say they think for themselves? Are you numbered among them, Musbatu Sabians? Verse 253. Do you still look at your own African Salah race not as Nefirmo, beautiful, as the other Salalu races or mixed seeds? Verse 2254. Can you break this Hajj spell when you consistently practice his deceptions over you and your feelings, tashar art, emotions, likes and dislikes, and avoid your own prescribed natural nature by nature? So I, Pa Nabat Mumbad Yanun, on behalf of Pa Natharu, the overseers, your own ancestors, interrogate you. Why would you anticipate acceptance of your Muslafu ancestors while you obey the devil race? You have not shown khasus, respect to self and kin. You are of the vulnerable ones. How can you expect entry to Sirius, Masbat, and or Masa'a, Orion, our paradise, when you vehemently, this really applies to those who just reject and refute WU-SABAT, oppose our precepts and turn your back on and from WU-SABAT? What awaits you across the bridge to your own salvation, returning you to your Muslafu ancestors? You who are gone astray from Wunawa. You've allowed inside your Mukwan being an enemy against the Sawab truth. Verse 262. One of the 29 voices, or outside specters, the diabolical Ka'a'at spirits who you've allowed to overpower you, as a result of such possession and or inner voice, was an assault which hardened your heart. Specters of voices inside of your own past 4 Tansub'at generations embellishes your horrendous Ta'amu artwork, and you become one who is beguiled and bewitched. Yet, as for those of you who stay in WU-SABAT, who trust their own Sawat voice and control their own Ka'a spirit, and have held on to WU-SABAT, have stood by our principles, you will eventually have the privilege of beholding and many faces of your Muslafu ancestors. So back to your being around people in New York, etc. Just hold on to and trust your ancestors. Trust trust the process. Trust why they have sent this being. All of this is based on turning yourself inside out, outside in, and studying whatever available it is that you can study in WU-SABAT. Okay.
I will talk them all.
Antata for your falls, Marta. Are there any other questions on that before we I'm mindful of the time, so if there's any more questions, I'm sure there probably is. You have a question, sister?
No.
Oh, okay. Let me see if there's any other questions in the chat. Right, the question is, very important message for Moisa. Okay, that's from Reyes Ananda. So the question from TJ, if this is the time for the Negro race to rise, why is it that the majority seem to be still deep? Okay, well, I think I've answered that through reading the book. I hope that answered your question, TJ. How can we help free the master teacher? I think I've also said that as well, V. But just to reiterate again, the master teacher has taught us many things, but one of the things he has echoed is do for self. And that's from the Honorable Master Elijah Muhammad. Yeah, do for self. And Marcus Garvey, because they were all students, okay, of each other. One after the other or one before, but they all said do for self. And the master teachers echo the same thing, do for self. So it means whatever we do, clothing, incense, oils, whatever it is, bookstores, stores, buy and sell from each other. It's not impossible because everybody realizes how much we are beneficial to the economy. Mm-hmm. Everybody realizes that. So we need to start, we've got a base where we can help this base thrive. We've got this store because these stores are not just a store you just come in to buy a book, etc. They're going to be known as, in ancient times, they were known as SABAT. Okay, they were like place of sanctuary. Okay, where you could come to and be amongst family that will recharge you, and you will also be given information that will keep you protected. So all of these things are important, and that's why these stores, they're not just bookstores, they're also they act as a community hub. You know what I'm saying? So that you can be enriched. That's the way, you cultivate your culture in these communities. And that's what this is why the master set up the way he set it up. The land that we had, we can get it again. We already have another land in Trinidad, which is X amount of acres, and we're building on it again. So no matter where we go, we can still build, but we need the unity, and the unity, once you start to realize what is going against you, the only other way is going to have to be, you have to go the other way, isn't it? If you know that something's going against you. And I know there's a lot of fighting the current, going against the status quo, all of that comes with it, but it's a challenge. But, I can only say from my, what I've experienced, what I've been in WU-SABAT, and I've consistently kept to what I've been doing, and you see the benefits, whether it's health-wise, whether it's financially, etc. You can see the benefits and how it helps each other if we work together. So this is what it's about. Okay. Right. Let me carry on because the time is getting on. So the topic today was are religious people still worshiping the God of light? Okay, and we covered that the root of the word Nur is Nar, okay, and that also we have the word Nar, which means fire, and the other one which means light. Okay, and Nur, the light, and Nar, the fire. Okay, and those two illuminations or physical things, okay, one's an illumination, one's a physical aspect, is that, or called by elements, is all six ether. So An-Nur and An-Nar is six ether forces. This is read from the same one I was reading earlier. I think I started reading it, but I didn't give the title. It's called sorry, just bear with me. So this is called Flesh-Eating Gods, right? So we're on page 12, Flesh-Eating Gods.
Is this a book?
This is an update, and this is what we're saying about, not because we're getting privy and that's why you should join, because, you know, come become part of the family. It's because you're going to get jewels, but you are going to get jewels from the master teacher. You're going to get regular, we used to get a lot of regular updates. There's still, some of them are still relevant today, once you start to read through and see what he's been trying to teach us. So this is just one of the updates that he sent to us, called Flesh Eating Gods, okay? So verse 152, in the time past, the chief deity of the Phoenicians, the deity Ash-Shadid, which we covered, okay, which means demon. The mighty Arabic, the mighty, Arabic from Hebrew El Shaddai, the Almighty from Shad, demon. Most Muslims don't even know these facts. The very name Arabiyat, Arabs, means wanderers. They have many names, tribal names, nations, countries, but all are the same people. Phoenicians, Canaanites, Indians, mixed with Europeans with a new religion, Al-Islam. 6 ether is 9 ether and death. They seek to convert you, then take your African soul. Tell you what to believe, what to eat, how to dress, what language to speak, how to pray to an unseen spirit, to live in the image of an Arab by his sunnah, live by his hadith. No African music, no African dance, no African ancestors, no African past history, and convert your soul into an Arab of Arabia spirit. You speak with them, they say, I'm not African, I'm Muslim, I'm Moorish. They lost their very Ba'a'u souls to another race of people, their customs, their culture, their way of life, not your own as Africans, Negroes. So in fact, their religion is your mental death. As 6 ether is the death of 9 ether. Just as you see today, many Arabs world over are accepting the ways of the Christians and the Western ways like Europe and America, and you deserted your way of life to follow Arab ways. Now they seek Euro ways. So just as Caucasoid ways are Negroes' physical death, loss of your music, dress, dance is loss of your African soul. 6 ether is 9 ether in death, just as Euro culture's African culture in death. 9 ether is a combination of all 9 to the 9th power of 9, 9, 9, 9, which is symbolic. When you look into ancient Egypt, you see like there's 3 flags, and they represent Natharu, but they also look like 9s. So anytime you see that on an ancient Egyptian relief or hieroglyph, you're looking at the ancestors, the overseers. That's their symbol. Okay, so if you've seen it, it's like they look like 3 flags. Okay,
3 flags.
Yeah.
Can I make a plea?
Go ahead.
Plea
away.
Can I ask people to avoid using the word light-skinned and dark-skinned, meaning darker than white, or nearly as light as white?
Okay.
Can I make a plea for that? If we're going to follow the way of our original nature, can we avoid those comparisons? Are we light compared to Europeans, or are we dark compared to Europeans?
No. It's not comparison to go. Okay, we're just saying that in the gene pool of our existence, okay, there's been different DNA or gene, what is called germs.
Yeah, but in common language,
yeah,
or that guy is dark skinned, referring to somebody who is high melanated.
Yes. But is that not a fact?
Yeah, that's a fact.
Right.
But when you say somebody is dark, you're judging them compared to what? Compared to white.
Right. Okay. No.
Because
yeah,
to be high melanated is normal. It's normal. According to the even DNA, the original DNA is African.
So your question is?
So the question is, why do people say, well, he's light skinned? It sounds like they say, oh, he's nearly white.
Do you think that's just like a personal personal feeling that you have, as opposed to that?
Well, I mean,
because you know who you are, don't you?
Well, so, I know my father's African.
Yeah, but I'm saying you know who you are, irrespective of the shade, because we come in different shades. Because when you go to Ethiopia,
yeah, but you're not hearing what I'm saying. You're not hearing what I'm saying.
Okay.
People use light and dark as a comparison from white.
Some people do, but I wouldn't say everybody does.
I'm not saying everybody does.
Yeah, some people do.
But I've experienced it
Yeah,
in other places.
right.
And here,
Okay. Will they say that light-skinned elder?
or
What do they say?
you're light skinned. Or
But are you not? I don't understand.
no, I'm not light skinned. I'm not light or dark. I'm black.
You're just African.
I'm just black.
Well,
Black
you're not a color, so you're African.
Yeah.
So let's just say the African brother.
Well, because we're living in a European context.
Yeah.
We compare everything with them.
No, not in WU-SABAT.
No, maybe not in Worcester,
Yeah.
but I'm talking in general society.
No, I appreciate what you're saying.
We say that, we say, oh, he's light skinned.
Mm.
But when an African person says about another African, oh, he's
But
light skinned,
this
or he's
is,
dark.
you know what, this is the,
Sorry,
yeah, go on, someone, yeah.
How would you describe a person then, a female or a male, if you don't know what that female or male looks like, and you offer a description, would you not expect the person to say,
Especially they commit a crime or something.
yeah, it's a crime, would you not expect the person to say, well, he's dark skinned, or he's light skinned, or some black have a medium color. They're not light and they're not very dark.
Yeah.
So that's just describing
I think it's preference.
how a person.
Well, it's okay to describe a person as high melanated or medium colored or coffee colored.
That's what I'm saying. I can,
light
yeah.
skin.
Yeah.
But when you're sort of making it as a comparison between white,
Yeah, but who's doing that? That's what I'm saying.
well, I found that among the Caribbean community,
Yeah.
they have he's light skinned or
But this is all going back to your
it's slavery.
slavery, and yeah, that's what I'm saying. You see, this is why WU-SABAT, okay? Like, if you want to even say that, we can even look at the comparisons of saying that we're from the Caribbean, or we're from Africa, or we're from another place, you get what I'm saying, where there's remotely people of the diaspora. But essentially, we're all African, you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
But, and so is the elimination of these terminologies that's been enforced on us, you know, or through society, we've been coined these different terms.
Yeah, and
You know.
you've got maroons, I mean not maroons, quadroons, octoroons.
Yeah, but that's all European. That's what I'm saying. We will ascribe to that. If that was being stated, okay, a Sabian will just correct that. Do you get what I'm saying?
Right, okay.
And say, no, he's this. You with me?
Yeah.
And that's what we have got to get into, that mentality that we're all brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
When there's no separation. Once we're able to start really realizing that we are not just related as in we're Africans, but we're related by blood.
Genetics, yeah.
Genetics, do you see what I'm saying?
Genetics, yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, so we need to start to get into that level of realization. And then you realize that, and then you start to say, whatever happens to that individual, it's also happening to me. Because guess what? Our genes is tied into the planet Earth.
Right.
And because the genome of Earth is synced in with us when we were seeded on this planet.
All right.
So we have got like an extension to Mother Nature.
Yeah.
And anything that happens to us, Mother Nature cries out. Sometimes these eruptions and earthquakes and things like that is because one of us or some of us are being mistreated.
Right.
You understand? And nature actually will remove certain things.
That sounds like Ubuntu or something.
Yeah, it is Ubuntu. Literally, it's Ubuntu. Yeah, so that's the level that we're at.
Wow.
When we start to realize, exactly, it's very heavy. So let's jump to, so 999, combination of all, and 6 to the 6 weakness of 6, or 666 is existing physical end gas. Conscious gases, but 6 ether is not the complete combination of all gases and chemicals. This means 6 ether is void of the 3 higher gases and chemicals that are necessary for universal or eternal life. Because 6 ether lost them during graftation and breeding, and their disease of leprosy. This is how 9 ether Nagaro Negroids became 6 ether Caucasoids, exhausted, weak, and wicked, lost of their very soul. You find today in Hinduism religions worship of monkey deities and other half human, half animals, these were real creatures, such as Goradu, a bird deity who carries Vishnu and Ganesh, the elephant humanoid deity. Brahma has 4 arms and 4 mouths. Hanuman, the monkey deity. Human body with monkey head. Kalki, a giant man. Kartikeya has 6 faces. Nagas, race of serpents, humans. Purasha, born of golden egg, and many more in India. As you see, many are the same as Egyptians. From world over, you see these hybrids and cultures. In each religion, even the Bible and Quran speaks of hybrid creatures and some half human, half goat, or half human, half dog, or monkey, or fish. Even these days, they find creatures with 2 heads and conjoined human beings from ancient gravitations by extraterrestrials, and those they taught. Millions of mummified bodies of all kinds of creatures and animals are found under crown in Egypt's Saqqara or Saqqara and Abtu, Abydos. The Caucasoid race is grafted from the Dravidians or Asiatic black man of India, which resulted in many deformed sub-races as well as a curse of leprosy for angering their deities. And for those of you shadow people who say hybrid sounds crazy, yet you believe in the Holy Bible when it speaks about half man, half goat in Leviticus chapter 17, verse 7. Okay.
The people who are said to be half human and half Neanderthal, are they hybrid?
Yeah. Yeah. But there's a lot of hybrids on this planet. A lot of hybrids. There's not a lot of original people because the mixture has been so vast.
Oh, I see. Right.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Let me just jump to. Okay. Verse 177. So today, Nuwapians, living in a world of human beasts, descendants of dog man, pig man, goat man, fish man, and monkey man. And please don't imagine this as like literally, monkeys, but it's the DNA. And some of them would look like that as well at times. You are living with children of evil, fallen Karabu, cherubims, who raped human women, Genesis chapter 6. You're living with the cursed evil race of people, Celtics, lepers, Genesis 9:25.
Celtics?
Yeah.
You mean like
Scottish, Irish, yeah.
Oh.
Leviticus chapter 13 reveals what they would look like as far as skin color, texture of fur or thin hair, and its color yellow, and the Quran say with blue eyes. Quran chapter 20 verse 102. You are living with liars, killers who live by war. They are angels of death. 6 ether is death. Their way of life is sex and death. The zodiac is 6 ether in the atmosphere of the universe and in animal flesh and blood. And this is why, again, when we talk about the eating and consuming of animal flesh, because you're consuming 6 ether.
Ah, okay.
You see? Let me read it again. The zodiac is 6 ether in the atmosphere of the universe and in animal flesh and blood. So when we're saying, and the masters explained to us that we should work towards eating more fruits, etc. Fruits are alive, which links into 9 ether. 9 ether is alive, is living. These are plant-based foods. 6 ether, the birth of animal flesh is by way of 6 ether. So 6 ether subsists or resides, should I say, in animals, which are lower vibrations. So they're saying you are what you eat. It takes on the next level meaning when you start to understand it like this, and why we don't consume flesh. Yeah, because you're actually subsisting that energy. And it's that energy that these extraterrestrials need to subsist of you, because when animal, for instance, goes into shock, I don't know if you know this, once it goes into the abattoir or wherever they kill it, whether it's what they call halal, which they bleed all the blood out or anything like that. But it's the shock and the adrenaline that's released into the flesh of the animal when an animal is killed. So it urinates itself, everything when that happens. So you are consuming that as well. You see what I'm saying? And this is part of why, just another part of why our minds and the way we think, you see what I'm saying, is not on the same level. It still eats, a majority of us are still eating animal flesh. And we love our curry goat, don't we?
Curry goat.
We love our curry goat. Yeah, jerk chicken, you know, we love all these things, you get what I'm saying?
What about mad cow disease?
Exactly, that's all part of it. So, I mean, they were feeding.
That's what freaked me out. I stopped
Yeah.
eating meat after mad cow
Exactly.
disease.
Yeah, it's all part of it. It's all part of it. It becomes it's a disease of the mind and the disease of the body. Yeah.
So even if you have like a wash house,
Mm-hmm.
wash all of that
Mhm.
out, you know, sometimes
Yeah.
it doesn't help. You know.
It does. No, it definitely does. It's what you're doing. I remember I said there's a spiritual exorcism. The master explained this way: learning to tell yourself inside out and outside in. Yeah, telling yourself inside out. So letting the real you come forth.
I mean, after
You see what I'm saying? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And the outside in is eliminate gradually the things that you consume. That's not just physical food. I'm talking about the things that we watch. Do you get what I'm saying? The late nights we're watching images that your melatonin is supposed to, by way of your circadian rhythm, go to sleep. I'm even guilty of it because sometimes I'm studying, I study way past. But it's the learning to manage all of these things so that it doesn't affect you. Do you know what I'm saying? And eventually you are in control. The real essence of you comes forth. So we're going through what's called a summer solstice fast. Yeah, and it's voluntary. It's not something that you have to do. But those who are on that fast, they're supposed to abstain from sex, drinking.
You started now?
No, on the 13th, yeah, 13th of June.
Oh,
It started. But I mean, like I said, it's not mandatory. It's voluntary because remember, we're working towards changing our frequency. And once you're on a fast, your cells illuminate a brighter light.
How many days is that then?
It's a 9-day fast.
Oh, 9.
Yeah,
Okay,
liquid fast, yeah.
and just water.
Liquid fast, so water, soup, you get what I'm saying? So you break your fast with soup.
But not juices though.
Yeah, I drink juice.
Juices,
So it's a
okay.
liquid
Vegetable
fast,
and
yeah.
fruit juices.
No vegetable, just liquid. So fruit juice. Yeah, you mean like grind it, you mean?
Yeah,
Blend it. Yeah. That's why, just to keep your energy and the metabolites and things like that. So that's why I do. It's a liquid fast, and plenty of water, drinking plenty of water, etc., to keep the electrolytes.
So no proteins, no carbohydrates.
Yeah, exactly. No solids.
Got it.
Yeah. So
Like,
no, go ahead.
not why the 13th, you know what?
Okay, so what it is it's 9 days before the summer solstice in the Gregorian calendar. The 21st of June will be the summer solstice, and that's when our new year starts to kick in. Because our new year starts in June, and then it goes all the way to the next June. So that's our year. So we're coming into our new year now. Yeah. So it's kind of like all coincides kind of thing. Yeah. So yeah, so all of this it amplifies your cells of your body. Your cells are brighter. When you're doing your chants, your prayers, etc. It's like it's magnified, and you have in the energy state and energy realms of this dimension, you have your ancestors who look on. Yeah. So when they look on, the brighter your light is, the more they're able to provide information and communication to you, because your light is brighter, they can see their children. See what I'm saying? So this is important for those who are working towards that transformation. If you see it as important, you do it. It's not a judgmental thing. That's what I'm saying. It's not, you're going to be judged. You're not going to go and, go to this hell that they've created in, people's minds. It's just about you wanting to purify yourself the best that you can. And this is your opportunity to do it. Yeah. You can also do like intermittent fasting in between, because we also have like a a 3-day fast every month. So once a month, from the first start of the month, you fast for 3 days. We also have a fast on the day you were born. So if you work out the day you were born, then you fast on that day, because what happens is, irregardless of the calendar, that energy in the event that took place on that particular day means that the planetary energies or the universal energies was in alignment with you at that time. Yeah, so irrespective of whether it is the Gregorian calendar or Ethiopian calendar or any calendar, it's the event. So you were born on that day, that's when your cycle of life started. And that is synced in with the universal energies that was actually imbued in you. You see what I'm saying? So in that time, when it's your born day, you fast on that day, you do your meditative and your prayers on that day, you know what I mean? Just to again acknowledge your alignment with that. So all of these practices is what we do, you know. Zama, I see you have a question. Go ahead. Rahubat.
I just wanted to get understanding on the fasting.
Sure.
So the beginning of the year, do we do the 9-day fast, or is it just a?
So when you say beginning of the year, you mean beginning of our year?
Our year.
Okay. It's in the Gregorian calendar, it will be the 13th day of June.
Wow.
Yeah, for 9 days to the 21st. So when the summer solstice kicks in, will be the 21st of June.
Wow.
Yes, so
every year on
that's
the day,
every year
on the
13th, yeah. And then that's the summer one. Then we also have a winter one. There's a winter one which we do again the 13th for 9 days to the winter solstice, which is the 21st of December. You understand? So it's just like I said, it's like the opportunity for you to be in alignment with natural nature's forces. Yeah. And you know, you do that, the more you do it, the more it becomes like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, just another day.
What about the beginning of our new year then? Do we do any fast?
It's entirely up to you. These are called, you know, you can have like ones that you can personally, is your personal one that you do. Right. You can choose to do personal ones, you can do, but the main ones that we as Sabians do on a whole collective, it should be on those particular chosen days.
So one on the 13th of June, and the winter one, what?
The 13th of December.
13th of December.
Yeah. So, you know, when I posted in the family thing,
well,
yeah, that is it. That is it. So take time to read it. And obviously you got like a prayer of intention that you also read, and you do that every morning. You get what I'm saying? And then, yeah, it's just a matter of just acknowledgement and an alignment with nature's forces, your ancestors. Like I said, you're more heightened, your senses are more heightened because obviously you've given up certain desires, etc. So that portion, that portion that you're no longer constantly feeding, you're not feeding your spirit.
Right.
And when you feed your spirit, you're nourishing your soul. You understand? And the more you nourish your soul, the more brighter it becomes.
Wow.
Yeah? Yeah, fish is still in our diet, but the eventual goal, the goal is to eat vegetables. You know what I mean? And you can now, I mean, we've got a brother and a sister who make excellent, tasty quinoa pies and, you know, pancakes, and the brother there can attest to it. You know what I'm saying? So you can, there are alternatives that you can actually start trying, and we sell it. Is it every Tuesday here?
Tuesday.
Every Tuesday.
Smile.
Yeah. Oh, Smile
Hub.
Smile Hub. Yeah, the sister's there. She's selling, and the brother's there selling their stuff. So you're gonna check them out.
So rice and peas though.
Huh?
There's still rice and peas.
Yeah, rice and peas is still veg. You know what I mean? You know, and then just learning how to cook, because she's gonna be, you know, doing also healthy classes, learning how to cook healthy foods. What's this alkaline diet? All of that's gonna be incorporated because that's what we're supposed to be doing. You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay, continuing, because I've been told we don't have much time. So, right. So the 6th ether, blood, flesh, blood, which there Gatat, God Shaddai, Almighty, Ashadid, the Mighty, asked to kill animals for them, the cherubim. Verse 182. You can call it offerings or sacrifices. It's still offering flesh and blood to your or for your deities, as you read in your Bible and Quran. Again, 6 ether is 9 ether and death. Zodiac is death, Dendara is life. The sun emanates 9 ether during the universal summer and is universal life, and 6 ether during the universal winter and is universal death. Ether is conscious gases. 9 ether is pure green light. 6 ether is pure amber light, amber fire, sorry.
Ether, 9 ether is what light?
9 ether is pure green light.
Green light, oh, yes, green, yeah.
Which is symbolic of health. Yeah. But
Green.
yeah, the actual color manifests here as green, okay, but it's actually dark purple or black to black. So what it is as it moves through the spectrum, thank you, Tauta, moves through the spectrum and it comes into the visible light spectrum, okay, that's the color you see as green. But so it's actually black. 9 ether is actually black. Yeah, dark energy.
Because you know what I was thinking? I should be wearing black and green together.
Yeah, it's nice colors, nice combination.
That's what came to my thought.
Okay.
Black and green I should be wearing.
Well, where? Let me quickly jump to, right. Tazama, Mugdal. So to feed their deities, 6 ether spirit forces, spectre, they were called holy ghosts. A Tayaf ghost is a ghost. Holy means pure ghost. This is what they worship in their synagogues, churches, mosques, temples, unseen spirits they call the evil spirit from Yahweh Lord. 1 Samuel 19:9. Coming up out of earth. 1 Samuel 28:13. Evil spirits from their Yahweh Lord. 1 Samuel 16:14. Okay. Jump to the next one very quickly. We've got time for that one. Okay. Last burning questions. I don't think I can find this one in time. We'll read this one. There won't be enough time. Anyway, last questions. Anybody online? Questions?
Yeah, greetings.
Yeah, Rahubat.
Rahubat,
Rahubat.
can I ask a question quick?
Sure.
I would like you to elaborate on Hermetic laws.
The Hermetic laws.
Yes, what is that?
From our ancestors, our ancestors wrote down many laws. Okay. So when you're saying Hermetic, these are the Greek rendition of them. That is based off of what they refer to as Hermes. Yeah, Hermes, the 3 times great, or what they call Hermes Trismegistus. That's the whole title. But the Hermetic principles is actually based off of the ancient Egyptian principles of the laws of Ma'at. Okay, and yeah, or also the writings and the wisdom of Tahuti, which had nine principles, and those principles were the law of correspondence. There was different laws basically that applied to
law of reality, law of consciousness.
Exactly. Yeah. Does
law
that make
sense? Yeah. I understand now.
Okay, well, wait.
Thank you.
That's a straightforward question. I like that one. Okay. Any other questions on Zoom before we go to, you got questions or not? Oh, okay. Yeah, greetings. Someone spoke?
you know, I want to answer questions. Yeah, you
Sure.
know, in was our Salafu ever, you know, drug dealers and drug addicts by nature?
Sorry, could you repeat your question? I got the drug dealers and drug by nature, but I didn't catch the first part.
Was our Salafu, yeah,
Oh,
our
right. I'm lawful, yeah.
ancestors, yeah,
Yep.
were they drug dealers and drug addicts by nature or not?
Our Salafu, were they drug dealers or drug addicts by nature? Is that what you're asking?
And drug addicts by nature. Are we as a Takwam, yeah?
Yeah.
Are we drug dealers by, you know, nature?
No,
Is
we're
it
not. Not by natural nature, no. I just read a whole section about how 9 ether is averse to 6 ether. 6 ether is what promotes all of these things because they get into our minds and into our hearts by way of either genetic mixing or through the atmosphere. And also, as I was explaining, through the foods that we eat, the foods that we consume, we attract certain negative forces to us because we're vibrating on that frequency. It's all about the resonance frequency. And, you know, so once you're in that resonant zone, yeah, they're able to pick up your energy and they can influence you, the external ones, or the ancestors that are in your DNA who thrive off that negative energy because they also lived that life when they were alive, because they want to subsist and live off through you. So you will feed them. It's called feeding the forces, because those forces are sometimes residing in your DNA by way of your 30 ancestors, or your 30 relatives, should I say. Those 30 relatives are connected to you in like a web-like fashion. You with me? And this etheric cord or etheric connection that you have with them, they're able to influence you in that essence, in that spiritual essence, and they can influence the way you think and behave because they live within you. So if drug addiction was part of their nature or part of what vices that they had when they were alive, then what they'll try to do is, especially because they weren't able to, either they didn't make the journey through to the higher realms, they got stuck here. And some of them, when they get stuck here, they become disembodied souls or spirits, but they become very angry that they're stuck here and they can't move on. And from that anger, they become more and more lustful and more demonic. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, what takes place is because of that anger and that demonic nature that they have acquired based off of their desires that they wish that they had, they could do certain things. Then, if you are in a state of agitation, anger, vexation, etc., because now you've dropped your, remember it says in Genesis, Cain's countenance. He said, God said, if you, I'm just using the Bible as an analogy, but if you don't do well, then sin lieth at your door, which is the nature of this particular being. Okay, so the nature that you exhibit based off of your desires and emotion, okay, will allow your countenance to drop, which means your mental guard of how, because you remember your mind and your brain is your God. So if the God part of you drops to a certain level or falls asleep, then the lower self, lower aspect of your nature will come through. And then these ancestors who vibrate on that lower nature will then influence you or get you to feed them. And this is where the addiction, it's not just drug addiction, it could be anything. It could be food, it could be sex, it could be, again, just angry with other people or starting arguments with other people. It could be anything. It could be, you could be even in a relationship with your girlfriend or wife or whatever. And because one relative, and some relatives don't get on in your very nature, yeah, they actually don't get on. So they may look at your partner, for instance, thinking, I don't like this woman no more. I don't want to be with this woman no more. sometimes it's not necessarily you, but because they're influencing your thoughts, you get that impression and you think that's your thoughts. And then sometimes you may see your partner and you think, man, she look good today. Yeah. So all of these things are affecting the way you think and how you perceive because they're influencing our lives. So, essentially what I'm saying is that it's not necessarily you that's be doing this. It's sometimes your relatives that want to take over the driver's wheel. You see what I'm saying? And navigate your life. And because they navigate your life, sometimes your life may be a blessing, or sometimes your life may be a curse. And you keep saying, why does these things keep happening to me? It's because you're not taking over the driving wheel. You're allowing somebody else to do it. Does that make sense, my brother?
Sure. Okay, I got a next question.
Okay, go ahead. We have
the elder,
go
the
ahead.
elder,
Yeah.
the elder, the ancestor, Dr. Khaled Abdul Muhammad, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Is it true that he was during his last days, he was gonna join you guys?
That's absolutely true. So was there's quite a few. There's even I mean, we had Dr. Sabi's was one of us. He actually put it in a live stage thing when he was having a lecture. So yeah, we have many brothers and sisters that they're not known to the public eye, as or keep themselves in a low, off out of the public eye. But yeah, there's so many of us that are Nuwapians, Sabians, that are doing the works and having an effect in some shape or form. Antak Atira for Zama. On that note, we will close class. Moisar, again, apologies I wasn't able to get to all your questions and answer them. But again, we have other student teachers. Please feel free to keep your questions and ask them in the next forum. Like I said, we said many times, love and unity is the key to the master teacher's freedom. Also, another aspect to that is the questions as well. Think about when you're reading these scrolls, etc., really ponder the questions, you see what I'm saying, to wake you up out of the spell. Think deeply on them. Not saying that you shouldn't stay in the Bible, but our job is to take people out of these scriptures, and just what I'm saying, because there's so much that we need to know as a race for our transformation. So spread the information, each one teach one. Support the stores all around the world. Wherever you are, if you haven't got a store, reach out to the closest community. If you want to set up a community, we have now a dedicated email address where if you're out remotely in Africa or other parts of the Caribbean, or diaspora and want to link in, we have an email that you can actually contact the NOIA, and they will provide you with what you need to do to set up a store in these particular countries. We're really pushing for our exodus, because we will be leaving. We're not going to be sitting here like sitting ducks. Eventually we'll be leaving, but we have to get the master free, because he'll be touching a lot of us when he is free. Okay, with that, Moisar, I wish you a shuk wadu for another session. Wadu Moisar.